Hey, it's your pal Filthy. Welcome back to another episode of Sons of the Forest. It's a little bit of a different one. Still working on the beach house. I will be getting back to that soon, I promise. Frankly, I got very fixated on other games, including Enshrouded and 7 Days to Die. I've also got some other videos I'm trying to put out in a recorded fashion. Haven't fully decided what they will be, but in any event, I wanted to kick off getting back into recorded videos with Old Faithful Sons of the Forest. We are going to be going to explore that building over there, but first I wanted to show off some of the stuff from this base that I never quite finished from my just building season. Like I said, I got very distracted, so that's why there's just a unfinished wall here. That's why this is the only room on the top floor, etc., etc. But I'm still kind of proud of it. I still like it. I still think it's kind of nifty. Like, I definitely think that guy looks cool up there, and it was always my plan to have another one in this corner. I know I said in one of the last videos I did in this area that for some reason my power is now no longer working, but it doesn't matter. If you didn't see the episode when I built this electrical shed, I encourage you to go back and check it out, because frankly, this is one of my better builds ever in terms of like execution, the way it looks exactly the way I wanted it to, and so on and so forth. So we'll take you inside here very quickly because we've already seen this, but yeah, it's got wire on that side. I put stun gun batteries here just because I was like, you know what, there's not enough electrical items. Same with the printer resin. I just, whatever, it fits the vibe of an electrical shed, kind of. That wall is a little bit screwy, but that doesn't matter. And then I had the power coming down from the ceiling into this post here. I would assume that the issues I have with power in this build is somewhere along here, but it doesn't matter because I'm not even living or operating in this area anymore, so who gives a hoot? So that's that. One thing I never got to show off, and I wish that I did, but you know what? Past Phil's loss is future or current Phil's gain, which is a very weird way of saying I'm showing it off now. But I had this idea of like a floating garden atrium kind of situation, so that's what I came up with here. Is I made this and never got plants put in here, but I thought it would look really cool if there's kind of like staggered plants there, and then you come around this side and there's just a nice seating area for all your seating needs, really. And then you've got two guys guarding the entrance. They're not very talkative as much as I keep trying. Right, Steve? Right, Steve? Right, Steve? Okay, whatever. What about you, Doug? No? Okay. It was worth a shot. But then I got the garden here made up. I thought this looks pretty cool. And my thought process with these here was I kind of thought it looks like a plaque. Like you go to certain gardens and memorial centers and so on and so forth. There's like plaques explaining what the different things are. So that's kind of what I had imagined with this. And then you've got the light in between. It's a whole nice garden. And then we get into the pièce de résistance. This walkway is entirely in the water, as you can see. So what I did was I used the console commands to remove the water long enough to get the frame down. And then once the frame was down, I started adding I added the water back in and started doing it this way. And then you come over here and again, just kind of bonhommes in the middle, or I guess more accurately, statues in the middle kind of deal. And the fire is supposed to be lit, and it looks really ominous as you're walking up, that there's just four shadowy figures kind of standing there. And then here was supposed to be like a diving board almost situation, because you can just be like, oh, it's such a nice day. Whee! Except you can't get back up. That's the only catch. But I never said it was a good diving board. All right, so now let's head over to the spot. Really, this is This building is something I probably spent more time on than anything I've built in this game. In, like, obviously I've spent a lot of time on things, but not in, like, one singular sitting. I think that this middle section here, actually, why don't I pull out the spear so I can show you. This middle section here from that roof, you know what? Look at the tip of the spear. From that end to that end was probably about 19, 20 hours. Granted, a lot of that was trying something, pulling it down, etc., etc., etc. But nonetheless, it took a lot of time, and I'm really proud of it. You probably saw this part of the build from when I was actually still doing recorded videos. It's just a wall. It's very plain Jane. I did, however, make changes that now the stairs going up are now actually inside, because before they were outside, and someone pointed it out that like it looks kind of dumb. So I did my best to fix that. So that's what that is, and it also goes up here. We'll look through that door in a little bit, and then it just goes all the way along here, blah, 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 and you come down the stairs. I put a little fire pit there just for some ambient lighting, and then that's kind of it. You can go out that way back towards where the rest of the village was supposed to be. Never quite happened, but regardless, I'm not going to beat myself up over it, because I thought I built some pretty cool stuff when I was obsessing with this particular build. And then this is just like a lookout, so my thought was defensive wall, but as things kind of took shape, it was more of a peaceful village in my head. So now it's just kind of a lookout and a nice spot to hang out. And then we will carry on past this for a second, bypassing it. This is another building you already saw in a previous video. It didn't quite get finished, but basically it was just supposed to be like a guard tower, again, that goes in a couple different directions. It's supposed to have a roof here, or a wall here. This roof piece here was a colossal pain in the you-know-what. And that's because I didn't know how to get a roof on here aside from just a straight flat roof. So that's why I made this like double, triple hump thing. Nice. Double hump. And then this was supposed to be the rest of the wall. Again, never quite got there. The wall ended here because my thought process was, ain't nobody walking up along here, so it made sense. I was thinking about like trying to expand a little bit over that way and like build like a shop or something, but it never quite happened. Oh well. It did give me a lot of different ideas for how to do other things in later builds. Like some of the ideas and practices that I learned in this one, I have applied to later builds, including my live streams and stuff, including this look here, how I like was able to double layer the stairs. Like you see there that there's two stairs on top of each other. I laid them in such a way that like it filled all the gaps. And then this is something I learned through either Game Edged or KJ4A. I learned from one of the YouTubers I watch that if you put a stick, hold on, why don't we put a stick and demonstrate? If you put a stick really close to the wall, then you can, it won't work because I've already got the stick there, but you can see that it's trying to connect to that fence piece. So if you put the stick really close to the wall, you could have it basically line up that it's acting as like a railing. So that's exactly what I did, and my thought was I was going to put half walls all along here and then go into there. This was also supposed to have a door, but again, I'm not going to beat myself up over the fact that I didn't quite finish it. Little bit disappointed in myself in the sense that like it really could have been dynamite. I still think it's really good, but yeah, I definitely, to be honest, I think once I got to the end of the actual construction of this part, I was just, no, thank you. I don't want to play anymore. And to be honest, I think the longest break I've taken from Sons of the Forest was in the wake of this. It was tiresome in the sense that, like, it was a lot of work. I was staying up till 2, 3 a.m. working on it, and then I was exhausted the next day, and so on and so forth. So, like, I think it just got mentally kind of draining. So that's why I walked away from it and why it's unfinished. But regardless, let's show off what was supposed to be just a gatehouse. All I wanted was a wall between this building and that building. And when that never came together, I was like, okay, well, what if I build something around the stone here? Again, the idea is to pretend that that's a plaque of some kind. This stone was put here by an ancient race of Pujaboo. That kind of thing. But yeah, so I did that, and then I just kind of expanded out from here in each direction. And I really, really, really like how this took shape. So that's where I pivoted to what I keep calling a garden, or a welcome center, not a garden center. Garden center doesn't have rocks in the middle. Okay, well, maybe it might, but regardless, it's a welcome center. So my thought was, wayward travelers come, they're like, oh, this looks actually kind of welcoming, actually kind of nice. These stairs are dog poo, but that doesn't matter. You just take a quick step up, and then you come in. This is obviously the main focal point. You go in, and then there's seating all the way around here. Copious amounts of spots to sit, which is real nice. So over here, I had the idea of a queue or a line, in the sense that, like, I wanted to put the armor stands on the other side of this wall, and then have some railing or fences, rather, kind of like queuing people, and they'd come in, like, get a ticket or a pamphlet or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's very nice. Where do you find the half-finished building? Why, it's just over there to the northwest. Ha ha ha. Not that anyone actually talks that way, but that was the thought process. Was it would have been cool to have like a queue system here. And then this over here actually leads to the other section, and my thought was this would be like an employees only area. It was going to have a wall here, and then just employees only back this way. And then not a whole lot going on over here. It's literally just an opening, as you can see by the fact that there's nothing here. And I didn't even have plans for this. This wasn't laziness. This wasn't not finishing it. This was literally just, that's an empty space. That's where we put the disobedient children or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then in here was, again, another like employees only area. But over here was kind of like a dining area. We've got a nice table with some chairs. There's supposed to be another chair here. I had envisioned like just a nice window seat for you to work with. Am I swaying? Am I imagining things, or is that swaying a little bit? Get in the comments and let me know. Is that swaying, or am I losing my mind a little bit? Regardless, so it was kind of like a window seat so you could look out onto the village that never got built. And then I was going to have some like benches and just kind of like a pub vibe over this way, that like you'd sit around the fire and have a drink, have a chat, all those sorts of things. And then another windowsill seat here that never got made. God, there's a lot of never got finished, but still, I'm very proud of this. Don't let my continued complaints about my own work fool you. I'm very proud of this one. And then over here, I thought would be like a nice kind of, just a little bit of a change in the decor, change in the scenery, a nice open concept kind of like patio setting. You come over here, have a cigarette, come over here, have a coffee, whatever, just sit and enjoy the newspaper, etc., etc. I thought that looked really nifty. And then, as you can see, there's a big old opening here, and that was 1,000,000% simply because I could not figure out a way to get a roof over this middle part and not have just support structures every which way and just make it a complete pain in the ass. So that's why it's wide open, but I also kind of conceptualized in my head that it's wide open like this because the Stone of Truth, or whatever the hell you want to call it, is powerful. I don't know. It was it was an idea, and I never quite fleshed out an explanation as to why it would be open, other than I couldn't quite get it done. And then the last thing on this was, since these buildings were connected underneath, I was like, you know what? I can't take these support beams out. I can't take these ones out. I can't take this one out. Why don't I just make use of the space? So what I did was, once all of these beams were in place, I made a rope bridge from this side to this side, and it's just kind of a way for employees and what have you to get around and get up and down. And you can kind of yell at the little jerk ass kids that are messing with your stuff. And then underneath here was supposed to be like a herb garden, or an herb garden if you prefer. But again, that never happened. Regardless, this is my welcome center. I am super proud of it. I hope you like it too. Big part of me is sorry that it never got done, but you know what, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I still very much enjoyed playing this game. I enjoyed building this. I hope you did too. It's a bit of a shorter episode. In fact, we're looking at about 17 minutes, maybe a little bit less with editing, but regardless, that will do it for you today. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe and comment and all that fun stuff. It helps grow the channel. Regardless, I will be back soon with some more content, both recorded and live, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye!